Bride says yes to a dress she hated, because it was the only one in the plus-size section, cried that night. The journey to finding the perfect wedding dress is a memorable, and sometimes emotional, experience for many brides. However, for some women, that journey is marred by frustration, body shaming, and the difficulty of finding dresses that fit and flatter their bodies. One such bride, whose story has gained significant attention, has shared her heartbreaking and empowering experience of choosing a wedding dress she hated, simply because it was the only option available in the plus-size section of a bridal shop. A dream day turned difficult. The bride, who wished to remain anonymous, had always dreamed of walking down the aisle in a beautiful, tailored wedding dress that made her feel like a queen. Like many women, she envisioned her wedding day as a moment of beauty and celebration, with the perfect gown symbolizing the start of a new chapter in her life. However, when she began shopping for her dress, reality quickly set in. The bride, a size 18, soon discovered that the bridal industry often lacks inclusivity for women with fuller figures. She visited multiple bridal boutiques and found that the options for plus-size brides were extremely limited. In fact, many shops didn't carry dresses in her size at all, and those that did were often relegated to the back corners of the store or had a very limited selection. It was so discouraging. I had always envisioned wearing a certain type of dress for my wedding day, but it felt like none of the shops I went to actually wanted to cater to women like me. I felt like I didn't even exist in these spaces, the bride shared, her voice tinged with emotion. Despite these challenges, she remained determined to find the perfect dress, hoping that there might be an option available that would allow her to feel beautiful and confident. Unfortunately, after countless attempts to find a dress she loved, she was left with few options. The dress she hated. It was at a popular bridal store that she found herself staring at the only dress available in her size. Describing the dress as something that didn't reflect her personal taste, the bride said it was the last thing I would have picked, had she had other options. I hated it. It wasn't the style I imagined at all. I never thought I'd end up wearing something like this. But it was the only dress in the store that was in my size, and it was the only option left, she explained, recalling the moment she stood in front of the mirror, trying on a dress that felt entirely foreign to her. She tried to put her feelings aside and focus on the practicality of the situation. Her wedding was quickly approaching, and she had to make a decision. There was no time to keep searching for another dress. As she looked at herself in the mirror, tears welled up in her eyes. I cried that night, she admitted. I felt like I had to settle. I wanted to feel special, and instead, I felt defeated. The emotional weight of the situation was overwhelming. The bride had hoped for a positive, joyous experience when shopping for her wedding dress, but instead, she was left feeling disappointed and insecure about her choice. The issue of size inclusivity in the bridal industry. This bride's experience is far from unique. Many plus-size women have spoken out about their struggles with finding wedding dresses that fit, are available in a variety of styles, and reflect their personal preferences. According to a 2023 study by the fashion advocacy group, Love Your Curves, nearly 70% of plus-size women report feeling excluded or overlooked by the bridal industry, with many stores offering a very limited selection of dresses in larger sizes. Experts point to the limited availability of plus-size wedding gowns as a reflection of broader issues within the fashion industry. While many retailers are beginning to recognize the importance of inclusivity in everyday clothing, the bridal sector has been slower to adopt these changes. Wedding gowns are often seen as high-end, luxury items, and many designers focus on a narrow range of sizes. This means that plus-size brides are often forced to either pay exorbitant prices for custom-made gowns or compromise on style and comfort. My experience with bridal shops was a wake-up call about how exclusionary the industry still is. It's like they don't care about women who are a little bit different, said Sarah Johnson, a fellow plus-size bride who had faced similar struggles while shopping for her wedding dress. I think it's important to realize that every woman deserves to feel beautiful on her wedding day, no matter her size. Finding empowerment in the struggle. Despite the emotional challenges, this bride ultimately found empowerment in her decision. She chose to go forward with the dress, not because she loved it, but because she understood the importance of making the best of her situation. In the end, the dress she had once hated became a symbol of her resilience and strength in navigating an industry that often neglects women like her. It wasn't the dress I wanted, but I wore it with pride, she said, reflecting on her wedding day. I realized that the most important thing was how I felt in it, not what the dress looked like. I still felt beautiful because I knew my worth wasn't tied to the dress or anyone else's standards of beauty. The bride also decided to share her story publicly, hoping to raise awareness about the lack of size inclusivity in the bridal industry. By doing so, she hopes to inspire other brides who might feel discouraged by their shopping experience to keep fighting for what they deserve. I want other plus-size women to know that they don't have to settle. Even if the options aren't there, you still have the power to make choices that are right for you, she said. I want to help change the narrative so that the next generation of brides won't have to go through the same frustrations I did. A call for change in the bridal industry. In response to growing calls for size inclusivity, some bridal designers and shops have begun to expand their offerings for plus-size brides. Some well-known designers have started to create more inclusive lines, and certain bridal boutiques now offer a broader range of sizes, allowing brides of all shapes to try on dresses and feel celebrated. The issue, however, remains a significant one. For many plus-size women, the frustration of feeling excluded from the bridal experience is an ongoing challenge. However, the growing awareness and push for inclusivity are hopeful signs that the industry may be slowly evolving. It's clear that there is an increasing demand for change, and many women are determined to continue advocating for better representation. In the meantime, plus-size brides are learning to navigate the challenges and stand up for themselves. The bride who shared her story, although initially disheartened, is now using her experience to encourage others to advocate for their needs and refuse to accept the status quo. We deserve to feel beautiful too, she said, her voice full of conviction. And we should never have to settle for less. Conclusion. This bride's experience highlights the ongoing struggle for size inclusivity in the bridal industry. While her journey was not without tears and disappointment, it ultimately became a story of empowerment, resilience, and self-acceptance. As the bridal industry continues to evolve, it's essential that all women, regardless of size, have access to the same opportunities to feel beautiful and confident on their wedding day. The bride's message is clear. No woman should ever feel like she has to settle for a dress she doesn't love simply because of her size. In an ideal world, every bride would have the chance to find the perfect gown that aligns with her personal style, regardless of her body type. Until then, the fight for inclusivity continues, one wedding dress at a time. The journey to finding the perfect wedding dress is a memorable, and sometimes emotional, experience for many.